Hey guys, Cam315 back at it with another video for you guys, and we are back with another My Hero Academia anime episode review for you guys. My co-host has finally returned from his vacation.
What's up, guys? I'm back after how long has it been? 2 weeks? 3 weeks?
2, 3 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, sorry I've been gone, but family celebrations and stuff like Christmas, New Year's, you name it.
Yep. I know I didn't get your thoughts on that. Well, the main audience. I know I got your thoughts on the off screen, but please tell the audience just from the fact from an anime only's perspective. What were your thoughts on just some of the scenes you saw from the new opening?
Well, music. All I'm gonna say is music-wise, it's okay, but yes, visually, it looks like really stunning. And I see that woman that you claim is a waifu. Yes, in this episode, I just saw her come out of prison. So I was like, huh, what's her significance?
What do you think of Deku's new design?
Beast, man, he looks like a badass.
Yeah, it's funny how when we get this Deku, everybody's like, "Oh, Deku's a badass now." But these are the same people that were calling him a crybaby bitch. Not only all these seasons ago, what they're calling Takamichi from Tokyo Revengers.
I can't stand those people.
But anyways, we get a pretty eventful episode here. We get what we all predicted. When would All For One eventually break out of prison?
And what a way to start off the episode, right in the prison, right after all the bad stuff happened during the war. And now we start off at the prison where All For One resides, along with other villains.
Yes, other villains. Um, I'll say this: thank you, Bones, for not doing another BS recap episode like they did last week. Again, that was my criticism from last week's episode review. Half the episode was just straight up recap from the war arc. I don't know why they do this. Maybe for Japanese people, they need memory. I guess some sort of memory. For me, I don't. That's their culture. We can't judge. But
Hmm.
we start the episode pretty much off at Tartarus prison. So Tartarus, as you know, is practically the prison for all these dangerous villains in the My Hero Academia world with all these quirks. And they go on to say that Tartarus has different layers, and obviously the worst villains live on like the deepest parts of the layer or the deepest parts
And
of the floor of the prison. Which, funny enough, I feel like Horikoshi got this from One Piece when, if you remember, when Luffy went to try to go save Ace, it was like impelled down. The lower you get in impelled down, that's how worse the One Piece criminals obviously are put in. So I would take it Horikoshi kind of took something from One Piece, you know. Hey, makes sense. Cool. You would think in any prison case, you would put your worst criminals at probably like the deepest floors compared to like, oh, I'm gonna go to the prison and I see Al Capone on the first floor.
Jesus, I now I'm seeing familiar faces that I never thought I would see again. Like, like, oh, come on, muscular.
Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. So, in the meantime, yeah, things are happening. You have this command center. You have this one guy. He's pretty much talking. Now, this is actually a pretty interesting talkie point. And we brought up on this whole thing, and it's actually a whole thing. Like, should heroes and stuff like that kill these villains and stuff like that? This one guard is like, why the hell do we even have these people up in here locked? Like, these guys are dangerous villains that will kill people. They chose to go this route. Why not just kill them and be done with them? You know? Now, to the other guy's chagrin, one of his coworkers is like, hey, you need to be quiet. Look that they hear us on the comms. They'll make us think we're some freaking monsters. And pretty much the guy's like, who gives a rat's ass, pretty much? These people are bad guys. They've done bad things. What's the heck's wrong with these guys? These guys got these super quirks. So yeah, so it brings in this whole dichotomy. Should these super like criminals be killed for their actions? Again, I'm the person, do the time, because you literally tried to hurt others and you broke the law. But there is always that case. Well, for the super hyperactive, insane, crazy characters, maybe you do draw that line where you're like, no, they gotta die. Your thoughts?
I'm mixed. I'm mixed. Yeah. All right. I at the same time, yes, I get why they would feel like they would need to kill them, but at the same time, would that really, uh, at the same time, want people like view you in some type of way if you do?
Good point. Good point there. You know, so yeah. Moving on, we get to the ground floor areas. We have these two, I guess, heroes that are brothers, and they're just talking about like, man, I wish we could have helped out. Maybe we could have did something. And then the one brother is like, dude, we were stationed here at Tartaros. I'm like, well, one, you probably would have made no absolute difference. Two, you're guarding a supermax prison, so it's probably best you just stay there.
They probably
Mind
would.
you,
They probably would have ended up like crust.
well, we see one of them, well, probably both of them ends up dying, but we have it to where pretty much the only recap portion we got was when Shigaraki was saying, well, the all for one persona of Shigaraki's body pretty much was saying we need to go retrieve my other body, my other thing. And again, we'll speak about Spinner in a second, but he looks like he's not down with this all for one stuff.
Yeah.
So obviously the Nomu start charging, like, what the hell is that? And the next thing you know, they see the Nomu. So we see these high-end Nomus charging Tartaros and everything. One of them just kills one of them by just, I guess, blowing up spikes, and they don't even show the guy's fatality. They just show his dead body, and the dude's like, my brother's dead! And we're getting raided! So, another death drop right then and there. So, they're going on. One of the Nomus has like a freaking shield attack. So he's just blocking bullets and everything. And in the meantime, you just have Shigaraki, or all four Shigaraki right now, pretty much flying on this one Nomu, getting to Tartaros, and they see that. Now, we do get an interesting type of, I would say, vestige world, and you can kind of see that All for One is trying to take over Shigaraki's body, because he's like, come on, Tomura, just let me use your body, because for a quick second, Shigaraki actually takes control of his body again, and he's like, Master, this is my body, get the fuck out, pretty much. But All for One is like, Tomura, I can help you, you need to rest, just rest your body, I'll take care of everything. This guy is a bold-faced liar.
Yes.
And just to make it even more shown that he's taken over his body, you have literally like Shigaraki in this vestige world wrapped up in like whips. Pretty much.
Yeah.
So, I will say I like how the anime is portraying the fact of this whole, okay, who's in control of the body? Because in the manga, from what I remember, it was really never specified, like, enough. It was just like, and even now in the manga, it's still kind of weird with, okay, the switching personalities and everything. Again, I won't go into super spoilers, but it was always weird, like, we would hear Shigaraki talking in the manga, and I'm like, okay, is that the All for One persona kicking in, or is that the Shigaraki personality? Simple as that. Here, they've been actually showing it like, no, you can see All for One's in control. And they actually also change based on the eyes. If Shigaraki's eyes are just red, that's the thing. But if you see like a colorized, like rainbow type of eye, that's All for One. And plus, I also like the fact the voices are different. Simple as that.
Yes.
So, yeah, he goes onto one of these towers, decays it and everything. But All for One, pretty much, the All for One persona is pretty much saying, I couldn't control the decay if I did anything. If I had continued on the decay, well, then I would have just killed my original body, because literally it's under the water. It's like 5,000 feet underwater, so the water pressure would obviously kill him. But they're breaking in and everything, and then things just go from bad to worse, because then Shigaraki uses the radioactive EMP pulse and things like that. Then obviously the power's down, but the guards are like, okay, the power's down a bit, but we still got good. We can still reactivate the power, especially before the villains or the bad guys know that their quirks are activated again. But we see how All for One on his end, his real body, uses the same quirk. And it just takes out the entire power grid.
Oh.
And pretty much All for One is just saying, his real body is saying, he's like, well, it's very hard to escape from Tartaros, and it would be very difficult to do that by myself. So we find out that All for One would have even had trouble trying to break out of Tartaros by himself. But because he has a shared consciousness, one in Shigaraki, and obviously his real body, he can be able to coordinate similar attacks. So Shigaraki's body used an EMP attack, and now that he knows that, okay, the powers should be down, he uses his own EMP attack, and there we go. Boom. Inmates start breaking out, they start running away, they're escaping and everything, and yeah, All for One is broken out.
Well, you were right, Cameron. We're going to be dealing with two over ones.
Oh, yes. In the meantime, as we focus on some inmates. Who is the first inmate that shows up?
A face that I never thought I'd see again. Muscular.
Yep. You never thought you'd see good old muscular again, huh?
I was like, I had my suspicions, but at the same time, I wish. I never saw his face again.
Yeah, I remember when I read the manga, I was like, he's back! Oh no! So then you see him, he pretty much, I would guess, murders those guards right on spot. We cut over to some inmates running, they're like, oh yeah, we're getting out. We actually see, if you watch the opening, we actually see the one chick. I'm not gonna say her name yet, because they'll explain her character later on. But she hears this banging on this door and everything too. She's also talking about, she's like, this is weird that's going on. Why would the guards not realize that inmates would be breaking out now? But I'm so glad to finally see her animated in all her glory.
You got me curious. What exactly does she do that makes her such a waifu? You got me curious.
Don't worry, she'll be a pretty big feature of this back half of this season. So, yes. Now we actually see an individual on the side watching all these inmates running away.
Wait, isn't that one guy on that used the laptop? What was his name?
No, that's not him.
Oh.
I'll never believe who it is. You want me to tell you who it is? For people that don't understand or who are confused who that person was watching on the side, that was Hero Killer Stain. You can't tell it, you can't recognize it because his hair is different and then he's not wearing the bandana. But that's Stain.
Oh my. Oh dear Lord.
Yep.
Well, the question is, what's Stain gonna do?
That's a good question.
Is he? I mean, obviously, he only kills heroes that he deems unworthy, but I just don't know what his take is gonna be on like this whole hero versus villain thing.
That's a good question. That's a good theory you pose. That's a good question. I'm not gonna give anything away, but you make good points. Who does our lovely mistress free from their cell?
Who was that guy again?
Overhaul, my boy.
Oh yeah, of course. I'm so used to seeing him with the beak.
Yep, he's not wearing his beak. Also, too, he has no arms. If you remember, Shigaraki decayed his arms. So yeah, he was banging on the door. He can't get out, but she lets him out. And interesting, right then and there. So yeah, and the next thing you know, things are just going haywire. Tartaros is on fire, and practically, you have Shigaraki's body right then and there. It's still All for One's persona talking. Muscular comes out, and he's like, Shigaraki? And then pretty much you see All For One's real body walk up next to the side of Shigaraki's body. And pretty much All For One's like, well, I am finally returned. And now we can start this whole journey to becoming a true demon lord. Yes. Yes. All For One calls himself a demon lord.
No kidding.
If that also doesn't show you he read comics, I don't know what that tells you, but he deems himself as a demon lord now.
At least he and I have some inspiration when it comes to creating stuff.
So, yes. Now, we actually do cut back over to the League of Villains before I talk about the hero stuff on their end. But the League of Villains, pretty much Sugar, after the break-ins, or what we find out is practically because of this, there's more break-ins happening. Other prisons are having all these breakouts. So, not only did Tartaros lose inmates and everything, other prisons around Japan, boom, 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 they're getting, these inmates are getting free. So, let's go back to the war arc. Really, the only people that were participating on the villain side for the war arc were obviously the main League of Villain members, the high-end Nomus that got involved, the Liberation members, and now you're getting inmates not only from Tartaros, inmates from other prisons around Japan being set free and joining the villain side. And last week, you saw how one hero is like, I think I need to get a new line of work.
That's how you know his spirit was broken.
So, I'm just saying, villains are getting more allies, yet some heroes may be like that one hero and quit their job, which means hero numbers are dwindling.
I mean, yes, some of the heroes also died.
Yep.
Midnight included.
Yep. So, it's not looking good for the heroes. Now, Shigaraki, or All For One's persona, is like, listen, just protect this body, let me rest up and everything, and get this body to its true, complete self. And this is when we kind of see Spinner, and he's like, you know, I was inspired by Hero Killer Stain. And then I met Shigaraki, and I followed him, and then, you know, something about his ideals clicked for me. For some odd reason, I don't click with you, man. You're not the guy I follow for his dreams. Who the hell are you? So we see Spinner is actually challenging All For One, and he's not down with his ideals.
Mm-hmm. I mean, All For One didn't make a first good impression. He abandoned everyone that Spinner wanted to save.
And yeah, remember, Toga's still not there. We don't know where Toga is.
Yeah, where is she? I thought she was going to join up with them during the war.
Yeah, so it's interesting. You can see, you know, Spinner looks like he's not down with All For One. Does that mean, I'm just throwing it out there as a theory, does that mean you think he might maybe join the other side and be like, I don't stand it with this guy?
If he does that, what will Shigaraki think, though?
That's a good question. Maybe he wants to do it to save Shigaraki. Because remember, that's also Deku's plan. And also too with the fact that All For One's taking over Shigaraki's body. Remember from the last episode of the war arc, Deku said he wanted to save Shigaraki. Now it makes kind of more sense. He wants to save Shigaraki from All For One's captivity, I guess you could say. So that's what happens on the villain side. But you know, for the longest time, I remember this moment in the manga. I was like, oh shit, we're in big trouble. Now, mind you, now we have 2 All For One level characters, especially original All For One. This time, no All Might.
And Deku still hasn't completed All For One for All. Everybody's like, Gran Torino's in bad shape. Aizawa's in bad shape. A lot of the heroes are dead. I don't know what happened to Giant Lady, but to Mountain Lady, I don't.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, I still remember this from the manga, and I'm like, this is absolutely insane. This is freaking crazy. I'm like, wow. And hey, listen, we both predicted that at some point All for One was gonna break out of prison somehow.
I mean,
Now,
at first I had my doubts, but I slowly started hinting. I started slowly started like agreeing with you.
yeah, I always had a feeling when I was watching My Hero Academia, they put him in prison. I was like, he's gonna break out. It will only make they can't keep him in prison that long. And get no lo and behold, he's out now. So yeah, we speaking of the hero side, we cut over to the hero side. We get to the hospital. The hospital pretty much is a recovery. Bakugo wakes up. He's obviously like, wait, what the hell's going on? And pretty much most of the class 1A, well, not all of class 1A, but we have Sero, Mineta, and frick, I forgot Sugar Rush dude. I forgot his name. I think it's Ojiro. Yeah. Yeah, they pretty much tell him like, yeah, these are the deets. This is what happened. Now, they tell him everything. Bakugo pretty much we see him charging to Deku's room because at the end of the episode we're left off on a cliffhanger that Deku's pretty much in a comatose state and he has not gotten up since the war arc. So he's been asleep for 2 days. Okay. The other stuff right then and there that's going on. You have a conversation between Aizawa and President Mike. They're just kind of down in the dumps with everything that's been happening. Aizawa's obviously missing a leg. One of his eyes are literally covered up with like bandages and everything, so we don't know if he can be able to use his quirk as at an effective rate as he used to. Probably not, because he's badly damaged. They bring up, Midnight's death and everything, and as I was like, don't worry about that right now. We have bigger issues to worry about and things like that. We actually cut over to Todoroki, and we actually kind of get some things. One, we see that Hero Society morale has taken a huge hit. You have literally people, I guess you could say protesters in a way, upset people literally at the hospital's doorsteps trying to get in, be like, Endeavor, you need to explain, what the heck are you talking about? Is any of this shit true, pretty much, and things like that. And obviously they're calling him derogatory things and stuff like that. In the meantime, you obviously have Fuyumi and Natsu right then and there walking through the crowd to get there. You just see, man, Hero Society's, it's like Hero Society is dead. It's absolutely dead with this incident. And again, I made the mention in my last week's review. I said, with everything that's going on in this world, because mind you, this has been taken over 2 days, and obviously on their news sites, only 24/7 news sites, and Jiro makes a mention about this. It's just them talking about the fact that all these prisons have been destroyed, and inmates are pretty much running around doing willy-nilly and crap like that. And also, too, I forgot to mention, Shigaraki said, let the other inmates create chaos. So then guess what? They take off so much time trying to focus on me. Smart strategy. And yeah, that's kind of the thing there. These people are upset, rightfully so. Wouldn't you be upset and everything if things were going bad and you don't know your future? I threw this whole question. What if the freaking villains just say, hey, it's either you die or you join us. If you join us, I'll let you live. But if you die, but if you don't, then you're going to be killed right here, right now. So, and I said, usually people, they do in the best interest of what they see fit is for them. And if it's their lives, they'll willy-nilly join. They'll go against maybe their own morals and maybe even join the bad guys' side. Because guess what? At the end of the day, I want to stay alive. So that's kind of the thing. Todoroki's in pretty bad shape. Huh?
Yeah, he still can't get over the fight with his apparent older brother. And whose flames are actually stronger than Endeavor's.
Yep. And pretty much he comes to the conclusion that he's going to have to be the one to fight Dabi or Toya. Also, how bad as his injuries are to the point he can't do what?
What?
He can't speak.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he can't speak. Natsu and Fuyumi, they end up walking in. They're like, "Oh, hey, hey Todoroki, don't worry," or "Hey Shoto, don't worry about that." Obviously, that's kind of the thing. We again see that Momo and Mina, they're still pretty emotional about not only what's been going on, but also too obviously still visibly upset about the midnight situation.
I'm visibly upset from the midnight situation.
Yeah, I bet you are. Now you don't have to be spoiled for that no more.
What? Too late now. And for context, you guys, I did not mention this before, but yes, that was the death I was spoiled by. A YouTuber spoiled that death for me a long time ago, and now that I've seen it for myself, I'm like, at what cost?
Yep, yep. Yeah, Todoroki, he's not in a good spot. You know, it's just bad. What are your thoughts on the civilians? I guess I wouldn't say hatred, but their turn on Hero Society.
How will they get out of this situation? That's my question.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to say the least. But like I said, we end off on a cliffhanger with the fact that Deku is in a coma. Now, you would have to think maybe the Vestiges have to talk to him. The Vestiges of All for One talk to him again. It only makes sense. And then he'll probably wake up. Now, the question now also too, he's also fully wrapped up from head to toe in like cast and bandages.
For good reason too.
He messed up his body.
Detroit smash, St. Louis smash. Oh my goodness. You name it, guys.
Yep. So, that's pretty much where the episode leaves on a cliffhanger. Next episode, the title is called The Hellish Todoroki Family, Part 2. Now, there is actually somebody that walks into Todoroki's room, and Todoroki's actually pretty shocked. Only person I can tell you is that's more than likely his mother. And with the fact that the next episode preview is titled The Hellish Todoroki Family Part 2, I already made a mention to my co-host earlier, after the Dobby episode, that don't worry, they will explain more about the Todoroki backstory, about how Toya became the person he is now, what led up to the events and everything. And it's now we're getting this part. That's what we're getting. And you're gonna see a pretty dark story. Pretty dark story. But but solid My Hero Academia episode. Can't wait for more. I can't wait till we get the new Deku content when I see him in the nice little his new outfit. That's what I want to see, and I can't wait. Oh, you gotta wait a few more weeks.
A few more weeks?
Yes, a few more weeks. It's gonna be maybe 2, maybe 3 episodes till we get the Deku we see in the opening. So I'm looking forward to that. I can't wait. I can't wait.
Is there going to be another season after this?
So that's a good question. Based on where this season is going to end, which I think it's going to end, I'm not going to give away spoilers, but right now the manga's not finished. My prediction is this. The manga is already on the road to ending. Now, Horikoshi, I would say, kind of told a little lie. We thought, because he came out last year and said, I want to end My Hero Academia in 2022. That didn't happen. The manga's still going on. Now, the only problem is Horikoshi his health isn't doing good. If you check out my manga reviews, I go on and make a mention in my last week's manga chapter review. His health isn't in the best. His health isn't in the best shape. His health is actually pretty much declining. Now I think it's obvious because the overworking of this manga, because typically Shonen Jump manga chapters, they release 17 pages. Last few chapters, he's only released 11. That's something to do with his health. I said in that video, I'd say, hey, do what Yuki Tabata, author of Black Clover, did before he started his final arc for Black Clover, and that was take a 3-month break. Just take some time off. At least take a month off. Get your health back. But he wants to finish his story. You know, I think it's a combination of a bunch of things. So my thing is this. Based on where they end the season, which I know where they're going to probably end the season off, It's gonna be based. I honestly think we're gonna be in a situation like Black Clover is. It's gonna be a while till we get the next season of My Hero Academia, which will probably mean the manga will have to end for season 7 to come out.
Mm-hmm.
And who knows how long that could be? That could be a year from now, maybe 2. But that's all dependent on the manga's end. When the manga ends, I don't know if it's gonna end this year. I don't know if it's gonna end next year. Like I said, season 7, for all intents and purposes, could be put on hold for potentially years because we're literally that close to where the manga's at right now. We're only an arc away from where the manga's currently at.
Jesus.
Like, that's how close we are to where the manga's at. And again, if Horikoshi keeps this slow pacing 11-page chapters, it could take longer. Right now, there is no new manga chapter coming out this week. They're on break. So obviously Horikoshi can wake up. But again, season 7 of the anime, which my prediction is that will be the final season of My Hero Academia. Because obviously the final arc right now is the final arc of the series. It could be a while till we get season 7 and we see what I'm seeing right now in the manga get animated. So yeah, and I don't even know if we're on the final battles. I don't even know we're in the final battles. I'm gonna say characters are set up in their own fights. Obviously, your main character set up again in his own fight, but other than that, I don't really know. So we could be like Black Clover right now and be on a mini anime hiatus for a while.
Yeah, I'm still waiting on Black Clover.
Like I said, I think, you know, and just even more background information, I think Black Clover anime won't come back till final arc is done in the manga. That's what I think, because at least tell the last bit, because you want to lead into the whole everything that's going on with the back half of the Spade Kingdom arc and everything. But hey, Black Clover's getting a movie, so we'll take it. But yeah, that's just my thoughts on My Hero Academia stuff in terms of the future. Yeah, it could be a while till we get season 7. Could be a while, and that's all based on how fast the manga finishes up. Don't know. And I already said in my manga chapter reviews, I understand. I would like Horikoshi to just tell his ending the story the best way. I hope he doesn't rush it. I hope he takes his time. But at the same time, I don't blame him if he rushes the story because of his declining health. And obviously with the fact that My Hero Academia has one of, if not the most toxic community, him getting all this flack, because there are people out there that actually tweet his legit Twitter account, freaking giving him hate mail and hell, even death threats. And you know, as an author, that would wear on you for quite a while, and especially with your declining health, the stress of working for Shonen Shueisha. You know, those people, they're no joke. They want you to get your shit done. Which, again, you know, another anime, got to give props to Oda for running this long for One Piece.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't blame Horikoshi for probably being stressed out, being a little bit burnt out with telling his story, because he actually goes on to say, you know, My Hero Academia shouldn't have been running on this long, and actually, too, he actually makes a mention, you know, My Hero Academia, some story elements were supposed to be told longer, but because Shueisha's type of stuff right then and there, he couldn't do it. And then obviously, like I said, you get hate mail from the fans, and especially fans out here in the West, just giving you death threats and all this crap because it's not the story that they want. You know, it wears on you. And I can see why his health is declining. You know, he probably hasn't had a good chance. And that's why I said in my manga chapter review, just I hope Shueisha just sees that and they just give him a 3-month break. I understand we wouldn't be getting My Hero Academia manga content for 3 months, but just, I worry more about the person than the story, because I can wait for My Hero Academia. It's just a story. I would like to see its ending. I would like to see most of my anime story endings. I hope I want to see the One Piece ending before I ever were to croak. You know? Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, these people are people. I hope Horikoshi's doing well, and I hope he gets enough rest as he deserves. I mean, things like that, and hopefully his health gets better. I just don't want him to overwork himself too much. And then, you know, like I said, the stress of certain fans and the fan base, they're just toxic as hell, and they don't care about the person. I want the story to be out. And I guarantee you, if Horikoshi announced that he was going on a 3-month break, there would be fans that'd be like, why the fuck would you stop? You know, there are people out there like that are just inconsiderate a-holes. So yeah, obviously in the comment section, give your best wishes to Horikoshi and his health, because I want this man to finish his story the way he wants to finish it. But again, I don't blame him. If he rushes his story, you know, that's kind of the thing. We just have to hope the anime gives a little bit more insight to his adaptation. Yeah, but anyways, guys, we're gonna get out of here. Solid episode of My Hero Academia. We'll be back for My Hero Academia season 6 next week, new episode. Yeah, but if you guys like the video, leave a like, put in the comment section your thoughts on this week's episode of My Hero Academia, as well as hit the subscribe button if you want to get more My Hero Academia content, or any other anime content I am uploading to the channel and things like that. But till then, guys, catch you guys in the next video. Peace.